Hi, I'm DeDe. In this seated session, we'll do some myofascial release, which is a fancy way to say massage, as well as some targeted corresponding stretches to help us reach new levels of comfort, mobility, and range of motion. To do the massage, we'll need a small, soft massage ball or a tennis ball. I have a massage ball here. It needs to be soft. It can't be a hard ball. Even a tennis ball is bordering on being almost too rigid and too firm. So make sure whatever you use is soft and pliable so you have a good experience and it's not painful. Here's what else you'll need. A sturdy armless chair, some water for hydration. I have that under my chair. And you can feel free to take off your shoes and socks for this because eventually we'll be massaging our feet as well. And you want to be able to reap all the benefits. Remember, always perform the moves at your own intensity and to the degree that works for you. Feel free to skip something if it doesn't feel right for you. Make sure you have plenty of room around you so we can move freely. And let's begin. So whatever you're using, place it behind you so it doesn't roll away. And then you're sitting up so you're not right up against the back of the chair. You're not right up against the front edge of the chair. You're halfway between. And as usual, we're sitting up straight and tall. We have our legs in line with our hip joints and our feet are flat on the ground, straight and even. So let's start with some toe taps, lifting your foot up and tapping it down. So if you've never tried massaging your own body, when you get down to it, you probably have. If you've ever bumped into something, usually what we do first is we go, ow, and we reach up and we massage the area because subconsciously we know massaging something will deviate from the pain a little bit. It will make the area feel better. So instinctually we know massaging an area that hurts is probably one of the paths to healing it. Today, I hope that we're going to experiment with some stretching that really shows you in the moment how much more you can stretch and how much more comfortable a range of motion will be through a joint once we massage it. So we'll do sort of a pre-stretch and then a post-stretch with massage in the middle, and that will help you feel the benefits that you're creating for yourself. I know it always helps me to build in some value to something that I'm doing, so I hope that you'll notice the value here. Now both feet flat, up and down on your tiptoes. Stretching through your toes, limbering through your ankles, your feet, strengthening your calves. This move is also good for circulation. So if you've been sedentary up until this point, this will help to get things going, circulation going, keep things from getting too stagnant down below your knee. Let's do 4 more. And then both feet are flat. Let's hold on to the chair at first for this. Take your heel out and bring it in. Take your heel out and bring it in. If you feel like you can do this without holding on, then that's fine. You can put your hands in your lap. Heel and in, heel and in. Now, if you feel comfortable doing it, instead of touching your heel down, extend your leg and lift your heel up, straightening it out and bending it. So I got into this technique of myofascial release with a massage ball because I took a yoga teacher training a long time ago, and part of the curriculum was learning how to use the ball. I have to say that was almost 20 years ago, and it has changed my life. When I was in my 50s, I'm a fitness professional, I'm a yoga teacher, but I wasn't feeling so comfortable in my body, even though I stretched all the time and I worked out all the time. So what was missing was the massage component. Let's add our arms now, bend and straighten. Now that I'm in my 60s, I don't know how I would go a week even without doing this type of work. I hope it's beneficial for you as well. starting to build some heat in our bodies to prepare us for some of the massaging and stretching that we'll do. Let's go a little bit bigger with the arms. With your thumbs up, reach your arms forward. Now let's go up and out with the arms. Open. Open a little further if you can. 4 more. 3. All right, both feet down, both arms down. Roll your shoulders up and around. And again, up and around. So each time you come around and down with your shoulders, let go of the tension that may have been created on the way up. Let the tension go. Let it go. All right, take your hands on your legs, move your feet apart. Inhale, hands are supporting you. As you exhale, tip forward. And we'll go again. Forward. Move with your breath for this one. Sitting up as you inhale. When you're ready to exhale, coming down. Now inhale up, exhale, twist and drop one shoulder. Big twist. And then inhale, come up, and exhale to the side. So we're turning the torso, we're dropping the shoulder, and we're turning the head. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Coming up now, bringing the arms out. Inhale, exhale over to one side. Inhale up, and exhale over to the other side. Keep your hips heavy. Feel the stretch through your torso, maybe through your shoulders too. Two more. Now let's come back to center. Inhale, arms go way back, and then exhale, arms come forward. And do that again. Thumbs up when you're here, palms facing forward. Lift your chest up now. Let's add to this a little bit, lifting the chest and then letting the chest drop down just a little bit. Now looking up is okay as long as it's comfortable for your neck. You're not looking straight up, but looking slightly down and slightly up, if it feels good. And one more. And then let's just come to sitting. Now we'll step our feet out a little bit wider, so right foot out and in, and left foot out and in. So they're narrow in the center and then wide and in and out and in. Warming up through our hip joints a little bit more. Hello, Prissy. All right, come back to center. Let's roll the shoulders all the way up and back and down. Now we're stepping our feet out wide. We're turning sideways. So we're starting out now, make sure you still have your whatever ball you're going to use for massage. We're starting out with a little bit of a check-in here. So we're checking in with our hip flexors. This knee is over the ankle, this knee is underneath the hip, and then you'll rock your pelvis forward and back. Now I want you to pay attention to how it feels here in the front of your hips. So I have a pocket in my pants. It's right where my hand is when my hand is in my pocket, if that gives you a better indication of where we're stretching. All right, stop and turn the other way. How did that feel? Try to remember how it felt, because after we massage, we'll come back to this and it'll be helpful to have the reference of how it felt before. So here we go. Lunge position, and then tuck and release. Holding on with both hands if you need to, otherwise just with one hand. I can also feel some stretch in my toes, and we'll get into our feet later on. Now, coming back to the center, you need your ball. Coming back to a comfortable position where we're scooting back and we're leaning against the back of the chair. And then we're straightening out our right leg. Now, right where your hip creases, literally where your hip creases when you bring your knee up, that's where we want to place the ball, not on any bony parts. We're using a soft ball, and we also don't want to be on any bony parts. So be on a soft tissue squishy part, okay? Now, hands on top of one another like this, and then we just simply roll back and forth. This is called cross fiber friction, because in general, the fibers of your hip flexors run up and down, and we're going side to side. So mine are tender, even though I massage them pretty regularly. How do yours feel? If it's too much with both hands, just use one hand. Keep breathing. Do you notice a secondary effect of what we're doing? You're getting a hand massage too, aren't you? That's a 2-for-1. Now, if you go too far down, you're getting into a different muscle group called the quadriceps, and that's okay. But once you get too far down into your legs, start to roll back up again. Now, there's some bony parts up here, your pelvic bones. Don't roll over those. There's really no therapeutic benefit for rolling over the bony protrusions there. Stay in the soft tissue. So whether you're getting a massage or you're giving yourself a massage, it's important to remember to keep breathing, because if you hold your breath, your tissue gets a little tighter, that creates more tension, and that creates more discomfort, especially when it's already a little tender to begin with. Okay, let's change to the other side now. So bend your right and straighten your left knee. Let's plug in. I like to switch the bottom hand when I switch to the other side. You might want to do that too. Rolling around in this hip flexor, hip crease area. Cross fibering. We're going around in a circle, so you're doing a little cross fibering and a little bit of going with the fibers. So we're doing a lot more than just massaging muscle groups, even though I'm naming the muscle groups to give you a geographical association of where we are on the body. We're massaging a lot more than just the muscles. We're massaging the tendons a little bit. We're massaging, of course, the muscle fibers. We're massaging the fascia, which is a tissue that covers the underside of our skin and through our muscles. And then we're also massaging the skin. So depending on what type of skin you have and the amount of melanin you have in it, after you're done massaging, you may be able to see increased circulation in the area where you're massaged. And that would manifest itself most of the time as like a pink or a reddish color. Maybe the skin gets a little itchy. That is also indicative of increased circulation. Increased circulation and chronic tension relaxation are two ways to get rid of chronic pain. Have you ventured down into your thigh muscles, your quadriceps yet? How about around over to the side a little bit? Those are your IT bands. You feel any tenderness over there? Now, how are you doing? How are your shoulders feeling? Are they starting to get a little bit tired? We're going to massage those later. Don't be surprised because this is a lot of pressure that we're having to apply, or at least some pressure. All right, put the massage ball behind you, scoot forward on your chair, and let's go back to that lunge position and check in with how our hip flexors are feeling. Separate your legs, turn sideways. This knee is over the ankle, this knee is underneath the hip, and let's see how it feels to tilt the pelvis. I can feel a huge difference. I don't feel anywhere near the resistance here that I felt earlier. How about you? Now we can go further now that we've conditioned and readied the tissue to stretch further. So push your heel further back, pull your front ribs in. You can even take your arm that's closest to me up and out. Let's stay here. All right, then let's release. And we'll turn to the other side and do our check-in stretch. Right at the edge, 90 degrees with both of your knees. Tuck your pelvis forward. Wow, so much looser. I hope yours feels looser too. And then see how much further back you can wiggle your foot. You go to your distance that works for you. Now, how about the arm? Keeping our bodies supple is so important at any age. And then let's release that. Okay, moving next into our chest muscles. So for this, again, you get to sit back in the chair so you can relax. Take the ball into your left hand and let's address the right side of our chest. So I want to talk about a couple of bony landmarks. Our collarbone here, our clavicle, we don't want to go higher than that. And our underarm crease right here, we don't want to go any further out than that. This is our sternum. We don't want to go into our sternum because it's very lean and it's very tender there usually. We don't want to do that. If you have a pacemaker or anything on this side, maybe it would be on the other side, but if you have any sort of reason why you don't want to massage this area, then feel free to go around the area that you're trying to avoid or just skip this part for now. So let's plug into our right side and we'll start to do some circular massaging, just rolling around in a circle. Now, I like to use my other hand just to add a little bit of extra pressure or compression, but you might not want to do that. That might be too much. So did you know that if we're tight here, it's almost impossible to have good posture? Did you know that if we're tight here, it's almost impossible to breathe fully and deeply? Two excellent reasons to keep this area supple and mobile. So we can do a combination here of side to side, up and down, or the two together, which is circular. So see how it feels for you. And then place the ball behind and scoot forward. We're going to do our check-in this way. One side we've massaged, one side we haven't. So let's scoot forward, hold on to the chair at the same height with both of our hands, move the feet forward, and then lean forward. Now take some deep breaths into your chest. Do you feel more restriction on your left side than you do on your right? I sure do. So that's just another way to build in the value, to really show what this is doing. All right, let's release. Let's roll out the other side now. Scoot back. Ball, hand, or two hands. So if you had your left hand on the bottom, maybe you want your right hand on the bottom this time. So besides our posture and our breathing, tight chest muscles lead to a lot of other things having to do with shoulder motion. So it's hard to reach back if your chest is tight. It's hard to reach behind you if your chest is tight. And it can lead to all sorts of mobility and pain, mobility issues and pain. Putting on your jacket or grabbing your seatbelt, all that stuff can start to feel really painful. One of the main reasons is chest tightness. So let's alleviate all of that right now with some of this. You can use your breath to massage from the inside while you're using the ball to massage from the outside. So we don't want to press too hard, not in any part of our body. We don't want to be left with bruises or abrasions on our skin. So be very delicate depending on what your situation is. All right, let's sit forward, once again placing the ball behind us so it doesn't roll away. Sliding forward, sliding your feet forward, holding on a little higher on the back of the chair this time if you can. Lean forward. I want you to lead with your chest instead of your forehead or your chin. Lead with your chest. Deep breaths. Wow. Sometimes you don't realize that you have restriction until it's gone, and then you realize that the restriction was there. Okay, now leave the ball where it is, scoot back a little bit. Let's do this figure 4 stretch. So you're going to cross either ankle over ankle, knee over knee, or ankle over knee, depending on what your hip can accommodate. So as soon as you get into this position, you should feel some restriction from your hip. I do. The restriction is okay, but that's normal to have that. But we're just going to see how much restriction we have after we do the massage. So let's switch. This is just our check-in. Flex your foot if that feels better on your knee. Ooh, feels pretty tight on the outside of my left hip. How does yours feel? No matter how yours is feeling, let's make it feel a little better. So you'll take the ball and you'll place it, think about your back pocket, where your back pocket is or would be. You're going to go to the upper outer corner of your back pocket with the ball, okay? And then scoot back until you're sandwiching the ball between the back of the chair and your hip. Now, if you scoot back too far, it's going to press into your hip too aggressively, and it's going to feel pretty uncomfortable. So scoot forward a little if you need to. And now, let's just move our hip, turning or rocking or extending and flexing the spine. Woo. You can also do this one against a wall, standing up, or you can do it on the floor, lying down with your body weight on it. That's pretty intense to do the lying down one. The seated one is the most relaxing, that's for sure. So just so you can see what's going on behind me, the ball's going back and forth, up and down, and around and around. Yours should be doing that also. And maybe you go across the top of your pocket a little bit with the ball and back to the outer corner of the pocket. Maybe you go down onto the pocket a little bit, the back pocket of your jeans, for example. All right, let's change to the other side. So think of the other pocket, go to the outer upper corner of the pocket and start to move your hips around a little bit. So if you get massage, or if you've ever had massage and it was comfortable and soothing for you, I'm sure you noticed that maybe you fell asleep during part of it, or you went into a very deep state of relaxation and you just felt so good and kind of that warm, fuzzy feeling afterwards. That can happen when you're doing massage on yourself as well. It doesn't have to come from another person doing the massage. So hopefully you're starting to notice a little bit of that down regulation right now, a little bit more calming, peacefulness. So moving all around that outer quadrant of your left back pocket area where it would be if you were wearing jeans. Maybe you are wearing jeans. All right, taking that away now, leaving it behind you. Let's go back to our figure 4 stretch. Wow, I can feel a difference already. Ankle or knee or ankle over knee, sitting up straight and tall. Maybe now you feel like you can lean forward a little bit with your back straight because you've loosened up your hip quite a bit. See how it feels. All right, let's come up and we'll switch. Flex your foot, lean forward if you can. Don't force anything. We're not always the same on both sides. So if this side feels tighter or looser, make sure you make allowances for that. Don't knock over my water, you. All right, let's sit all the way up. How are you feeling so far? I hope you're feeling good. I am. Let's roll out our feet. So take the ball, put it on the floor, and then place your right arch on top of it. And then just start to roll from toes to heel, toes to heel. So we've all experienced pain in our feet before, either because we've been standing a lot, we have poor fitting shoes, for whatever reason. And you know that makes you pretty uncomfortable, right? Like it just sort of changes your entire mood, doesn't it? It's hard to be in a good mood when your feet are hurting. So next time you have one of those days, you now have a technique to make your feet feel better. And if you have chronic foot pain, of course, I'm not diagnosing anything and prescribing any treatment for any existing conditions, but if you have some chronic foot pain, this may help it feel better. If you have sore arches or your feet are killing you when you get out of bed in the morning, a little gentle massage may help you. All right, let's switch feet. Try to start with the ball directly underneath the center of your arch, so as you move, the ball doesn't get away from you. But if it does go forward, just move it back. See, I can feel that down regulation happening to my nervous system, and it feels great. Does this foot feel like the other foot did, or is this foot a little different? Remember, we're typically different from one side of our body to the other. So this is one of the simplest techniques for rolling out your foot, just going from toes to heel, from heel to toes, and going all across the surface of the sole of your foot. Think about what our feet have to do on a daily basis. Every time we stand up, the entire weight of our body is on our feet. We have lots of bones down there, some very small bones. They take a lot of our body weight and a lot of, they do a lot for us. And what do we do back for them? Not very much. So this is something that we can do for them. All right, let's put the ball behind us again. Come a little bit forward so you're not leaning against the back of the chair. Let's go up on our tiptoes and just hold there. My toes, even though we didn't massage the toes specifically, my toes feel so much more flexible now. The underside of my foot feels like it's looser, more comfortable. How does yours feel? All right, let's come down. Bring your ankles and knees together, sit up straight and tall, And let's twist. Keep squeezing your knees together here. Look over your shoulder. And then we'll turn the other direction and we'll hold here. And then let's come back to the center. Grab the ball, separate your feet, put the ball in your left hand and place it here, right where your shoulder becomes your neck, right where the front of your body becomes the back of your body. Right there, and just press. Oh, it feels so good right there. Move your head around a little bit. All we're doing is just pressing down into the tissue a little bit. If you want to use both hands, you can. Just make sure you're not pressing too aggressively and you're not pressing against any bony structure. All right, let's switch. Press. Maybe both hands, press. Move your head around a little bit. Make sure you're not holding your breath. I feel like we could do 30 minutes just on this spot. Mine feels pretty tender. How does yours feel? All right, relax your arms. So, how did that feel? By massaging and then stretching these key areas of our body, hopefully you could feel that you could stretch further and that you had less tension, less discomfort when you stretched. As usual, thank you for joining me, but more importantly, thank yourself for doing something just for you. I'll see you next time.